Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to Mathematics with Shahab Yaqub. So now people are already here. Let me just wait for the screen to be shared. And I think, yes, the screen is shared. Okay, now let me remove all the O-level stuff from here. And did not get a chance to get the A-level stuff ready. I mean, it's there on the sidelines. So first of all, let me go to the documents that you can see. And let me pick up P3 2023. Sorry, P1 2023, that is February 2024. And then it's P1 2024. And then let me pick up 2023. And I think that's about it. So let me get started with this. So now, what you see on the screen, let me go all the way to the top. That is February, March. Okay. And this is 2024, the other papers. That's right over here. 2023, let me again go to the top. So now, let me focus from here. So now things are ready. And let's get started. Now, people, it's not possible for me to do a wish list of questions. Whatever the recorded lectures are there, I mean, you can watch that. I would do a selection on my own. And what I feel is the right choice, I'll just go by that. So I'm sorry, I won't be able to fulfill everyone's wishes. As far as the comments are concerned, someone can individually message me, and then later on I can look at that. So now over here, let's get started with 2023, and let me grab some paper so that I can write on that paper. So over here, that is P1 2025. That's the last class of this year for P1 exam. And I'll write down the finer details over here. So now, I hope everyone can hear me. Everything is all good, all set. Now, first thing that I want to write about P1. Let me just reduce the brightness. Okay. So now the first thing that I would like to write about pure math P1 is that just a brief overview of what we have done so far. It's about coordinate geometry. It's about circular measure. It's about trigonometry. These are the three main topics. So now, first of all, let me focus on this coordinate geometry. That is about straight line. And then there is about circle equation. Now, over here, in straight line, we are aware of everything. Circle equation, let me highlight the main details. That is the standard form of the equation of a circle. X minus h whole square, y minus k whole square is equals to r square. H comma k is the coordinate of the turning point, radius SR. So now over here, let me just flip over my phone so that people are asking about integration and all these things. Let me just go with the flow. That is much easier for me. So now over here, I'll be going over every single detail to the best of my ability. And let's hope for the best. There is other content also on my channel. You can check that out. So now HK, turning point, radius R. We need to know that we use the concept of completed square to change from general form to the completed square form. So that is what is needed. Then there are some circle properties that we need. And let me do one thing. Let me just open up some PDFs from P1. And circle equation, let me write over here. And let me just show you a little bit of the working. Equation of a circle. This is the standard form. They can give us the center. They can give us the radius. We write down the equation. Circle and tangent. So radius is perpendicular to tangent at the point of contact. That is the property that we use. Sometimes we use this knowledge that PQ is the diameter of a circle. P is this, Q is this. Find the center, find the midpoint. The midpoint is the center of the circle. And from the midpoint to one of the points on the circumference, that's the radius. Again, then completing square method. How do we carry this out? Just look at the working. I'll just go over some of the brief working and then I'll go to the past papers. X squared minus 6x. Write these two terms together. Y squared plus 8y. Write these two terms together. First add, then subtract square of half the coefficient of x. First add, then subtract square of half the coefficient of y. Rewrite the first three terms as a perfect square. Rewrite the first three terms as a perfect square. Take this to the other side. Take this to the other side. And that's how you get this equation. Now, something to do with quadratics. In quadratics, this thing inside the square root is called discriminant. A quadratic curve and a straight line, you make a single equation. You apply this concept. If it's cutting at 2 points, b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0. 1 point, b squared minus 4ac equals to 0. No solution, negative. This is also known as tangent. This is also known as repeated roots. Now, the same knowledge can be applied to line and circle. And cutting at 2 points, cutting at 1 point, or not cutting at all. So that same knowledge is over here. So now we were talking about this thing. We should be talking about the different thing. Radius is perpendicular to tangent. Something about diameter. There is a chord property that is very, very useful. What is that chord property? That chord property is if there is a circle and I have drawn a line like this, I have drawn another line like this. These two lines are called the chord. So let me label it. This is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. I draw the perpendicular bisector of AB. I draw the perpendicular bisector of CD. So this will bisect it equally, it would meet at the center. Very useful property. From the center to the radius, from the center to any points on the circumference is the radius. So that is the basic idea. Circular measure, make sure angle is in radians and calculator is in radian mode. Trigonometry, it is about sketches. Trigonometry, it's about equations. Trigonometry is about proving identities. And it could also be about some conceptual questions. They could be related to a triangle. For example, let me focus on this. This is the base. This is the height. And this is the hypotenuse. So let's say if I have this theta and this is 3 and let's say this is 7. So they can ask for theta is acute. Find, and sine theta is given. That is 3 over 7. Find cosine theta, find sine theta. So you can find the base by Pythagoras theorem, which is 7 square minus 3 square under root 49 minus 9 is 40. That's the square root of 40. So therefore, cosine of theta is root 40 over 7 and tangent of theta is 3 over root 40. And then we should be well aware of it. Of course, you people have worked so far and you have come a long way compared to what you all started 1 year ago. So now, over here, just remember the basics. Alpha is the acute angle with x-axis. For calculation of the basic angle, this is known as basic angle. For the calculation of basic angle, always work in positive ratio. Now, people, I'm going over the basics because that's where people lack. So that's why the focus is on this. Don't expect that I'll be solving some new questions out of the box questions. Yes, I'll be then realizing, making you people realize which questions are important and which ones are my favorites for tomorrow. So my favorites for tomorrow that I'll release in a short while from these recent papers. So now theta is alpha, the required angle. Theta is 180 degrees minus alpha. Theta is 360 degrees minus alpha. Theta is 180 degrees plus alpha. This is first, this is second, this is third, and this is fourth quadrant. Remember, all the ratios are positive. Only sine is positive. Only cosine is positive. Only tangent is positive. Also, remember the conversion. That is pi is 180 degrees, 2 pi is 360 degrees, and so on. Also remember something about sine. The maximum value is 1. Sine, the minimum value is -1. That also goes for cosine. For tangent, it's infinity, infinity. Y is equals to sine x. Y is equals to cosine kx. Let me write kx over here. That means k cycles in 360 degrees. If someone is interested in new period, that is 360 degrees divided by k. Also, we can work in radians. Also, we know that amplitude, that is coefficient of sine x or coefficient of cosine x. Tangent, yes, we deal a little bit differently. This amplitude is half the difference between maximum and minimum. So there are such questions like this. And then we can talk about quadratics and functions. And these are the ones that causes a lot of trouble to a lot of people. So let me just double check this thing. I think I wrote sine and cos. I mixed it up. Thank you for making me realize this. That is tangent and this is cosine. Thank you, whoever is the person same. Now let's move on. Quadratics and functions. The most intense working is about quadratics because quadratics is related with quadratics. Quadratics is related with circle. It's related with simultaneous equations. It's related with disguised quadratic equation, and the paper is all about this. Functions, they could be question of domain and range. They could be question of inverse. They could be question on composite. And of course, the all-time favorite, that is transformation. So I won't bore you by going over these topics. Just check out the video that was uploaded, I think, 2 days before. That is on transformation, and maybe a month or 1.5 months before. So those two are the very detailed videos. So now I think I have written enough. let me look at some past paper questions. And then if there is anything important, I'll go over it. So now one of my favorite paper is this one, that is May-June 2024, variant 1-1. And let me focus on this. First thing, just analyze what's exactly that's done. And then how do we proceed with this? So now first thing, it's a completed square form. So the standard that we focus on is ax minus h whole square plus k, that is the completed square form. So if you want to find, let's say, the coordinates of the turning point, which they haven't asked over here. So a is positive 3, therefore it's a minimum. Minus h is minus 2, h is 2, k is negative 27. Therefore, the turning point is 2 comma negative 27. That's the coordinate of the turning point, and it's a minimum because we know the shape is a happy face. Over here, they're asking us the exact solutions. So this is the first question that you should mark down. And let me write it over here, the questions that I've marked down, so that I can save this image. And those people who are with me on the WhatsApp group, so I can share the details with them. This one, this is my favorite question for quadratic plus yani completed square plus discriminant. Now, ये सबसे एक अच्छा क्वेश्चन है जिसमें इसने क्वाड्रेटिक्स को लिया और इसने इसका डिस्गाइज क्वाड्रेटिक बना लिया. ठीक है, अब ये क्या कह रहे? Hence find the exact solution of this equation. So now they are using the word hence. That means you have to use the result of part 1, which is right over here. So let me highlight this result. That is 3y minus 2 whole square minus 27. First of all, this thing over here becomes this. Got it? And then the values of y are negative 1 and positive 5. Step 2, relate it with disguised quadratic equation. Instead of x square, I have written m. Instead of x power 4, I have written m squared. Now this thing and this thing is exactly the same. Therefore, the value of m is 5, the value of m is negative 1, but m is x squared. So you cannot take square root of a negative number. You can only take square root of a positive number. So there are two solutions for this. So let me minimize this. I want you to take a screenshot so that you can save it and then over there. Now, someone just joined it, and people, when you're not joining it from the beginning, that's where you lose things. Do the chords have to be of the same length that the perpendicular bisected to meet at the center? Maybe you have not left that, but you're just asking an extra question. The thing is, no, it does not have to be of equal length. There is no such rule as this. That there was a rule in O-level maths. If the chords are of equal length, then the perpendicular length is also equal. But that has nothing to do with circle at the moment of what I have taught. So now this thing is done. Let me move on. A question, another one, a nice question. Because now transformation, they can ask with a trigonometry thing. They can ask with a non-trigonometric thing. So now I want you to read the question. Read the question first. I'll just drink some water. Okay, G, I am back. So now what do we have? We have a graph of, first of all, let me look at this. The diagram shows two curves. One curve has this equation. The other curve has this equation. So which one is the sin x one? They haven't labeled it. Of course, they want you to understand this is one cycle of sine. This is another cycle of sine. They haven't completed it, but it would finish at 4 pi. So one cycle takes 2 pi to complete its path, maximum value at 90, minimum value at 270. 90 is pi by 2, 270 is 3 pi by 2. Now the question says, in order to transform the curve, sine x is first reflected in x-axis. Describe fully a sequence of 2 further transformation which are required. This is given. They have given us 4 marks, 2 marks for the first transformation, 2 marks for the other. So therefore, the first reflection goes like this. So it goes like this. Just focus on this. 0 till -1. So now what has happened over here? That the maximum value is 1, minimum value is -5. And after reflection, 2 things are happening. I can see the length changed. So from this perspective, this is like 3 units. It was first 1 unit. So let's focus on this. There is a stretch parallel to y-axis. The scale factor is 3. The amplitude is 3. Because from the mean position, it's 1 unit up. From the mean position, it's 3 units down. Similarly, from the mean position, it's 3 units up. So the amplitude is 3. It's also the difference between maximum and minimum. Once you have drawn this, so now this would be from 0, it will go to -3, but then it's moving 2 blocks down. That means there is a translation. It's a vertical translation parallel to y-axis, and the translation vector is this. Always mention the translation vector. Always mention it's parallel to which axis. Definitely mention the name. Stretch parallel to this axis, scale factor. So fx, find fx in terms of sin x. Sin x is first reflected, then it's stretched. We can also say that the scale factor is -3. That is also a possibility. And then it's shifted 2 units vertically down. Binomial, I won't pay that much importance to binomial at the moment. I want to focus on this one. Differentiation from first principle. It says the equation of a curve is y is equals to fx, where fx is such and such. The following points lie on the curve. Non-exact values have been given, correct to 5 decimal places. So all these values are given. Find the value of k. That's very easy. Plug in this thing, find the value of k. I have shown the working. Show all the working. The table shows the gradient of the chord AB, AC, AD, AF. So A is fixed, and then there are other points. Now look at the points. A is 2, this is 2.0001. C is 2.001. It's a bit further away as compared to B. Bit further away as compared to B. Bit further away as compared to B. Bit further away. That means the concept is the closer to the original point, if you have taken one point as a standard, let me call it the original, the closer the other point is, the better is the gradient, and that is a good estimate of the derivative. Find the gradient of AB. This comes out to be 6.3566. All these values are there. Now it says, deduce the value of f prime of 2. So we cannot differentiate it because this is out of the syllabus. This is UV. This is a product of 2 function. That is in P3, not in P1. So you have to find the gradient, deduce based upon this thing. F prime 2 using the values in the table. What have I written? Gradient of the chord AB, that is f prime 2. That is 6.2501. Why? Because out of all these, B is the closest to A, so the gradient is the best one. That is the concept of first principle. Trigonometric equation. Now over here, another one of my favorite. Let me write this another one. So favorite means I personally feel that something similar will come up. So favorite number 2, that is about trig ID plus equation, a combination of these two. Now, first of all, look at the identity. Sine square x minus cos x minus 1 over 1 plus cos x is this. Naturally, you would start with this, trim it down. Remember the word trim. It's not about right or left. It's about trimming. Which one is better? So sine square x is replaced with 1 minus cos square. This as it is, this as it is, and so on. And also take the examiner into confidence. Let sine x be written as S. Let cosine x be written as C. The examiner won't mind. He'll be more than happy that you are taking him into consideration. You are using a substitution for simplicity. Perfectly good. Now this thing is negative cosine x. Now what have I written? Keep your eyes wide open for this part. Why? Because now look at the numerator. The numerator is sine square x minus cos x minus 1. The numerator is sine square x minus cos x minus 1. But the denominator is 2 plus 2 cos x. The denominator is 1 plus cos x. So what is missing? What is extra? That extra is that 2. So now this thing over here, I took this 2 to the other side. So it becomes 2 over 4. Now that minor adjustment. So this thing is exactly what you have proven, that is negative cos x. And then it's about this equation. Now have a good look at it. What is the equation all about? How do you solve an equation? Lot of people ask this question. Lot of people say, sir, mark scheme mein to itna kiya hua hai, kya hum ye kare, nahi kare? I'm just speaking in Urdu and English both to get the essence of it. मार्क स्कीम में जो किया है वो एग्जामिनर ने किया है, स्टूडेंट ने नहीं किया. सिर्फ सिंपल सा असूल ये याद रखे. Whatever is there in the mark scheme, that is done by the student. It's done by the examiner, not the student. So the examiner is not bound to give you the full solution. He just gives you the hint. That's it. You have to work the whole solution, because that is what will be said in the examiner report, which I'll read out very soon. So first of all, write down the quadrants, write down the range. If there is any modification because of 2x, then this will change, which is not changing over here. Calculate the basic angle with a positive ratio. That comes out to be 60 degrees. In the second quadrant, cosine is negative 180 minus 60. In the third quadrant, cosine is negative 180 plus 60. That is the answer. Now over here, let's look at this question. A weird kind of question, but it's simple. It's not, it looks weird, but it's simple. There are certain questions like that. Some will look weird, but they are not in working. Some will look simple. Don't be overconfident. So now over here, the diagram, the function f is defined by fx is 2 over x squared plus 4, x is less than 0. The diagram shows the function of y is equals to fx. Sketch the graph of inverse showing any relevant mirror line. So when you draw a mirror line, make sure you draw it dotted, because that is just for reference purposes. And then play with the idea of imaging. So now over here, this goes like this, something like this. That's the perpendicular bisector. That is the perpendicular bisector, like this, to the best of your ability. You are not giving an art paper. It's not art, it's maths. So it has to be realistic. That's all what it counts. That if the examiner is in the mood to fold your paper along this line, it would overlap. That's all what is required. Find an expression for f inverse, the same basic old story. Y is equals to fx, f inverse y is equals to x. And now over here, when you have x squared the subject, there is a small, what you call, something that you need to take care of. That is, when you take the square root, there's a positive and a negative sign. The rule is over here. Quadratic, original equation is quadratic. So the original function is quadratic. And when you take square root for the inverse, so when you take square root for the inverse, if you are going to left of turning point, square root has a negative sign. If you are going to the right of turning point, square root has a positive sign. That is the rule. So therefore, this minus sign is there. Solve the equation fx is equals to 0.5. Again, you're getting two answers, but it's over here, x is less than 0. So accept the negative, discard the positive. Explain y is equals to f inverse. And f inverse x and fx has no solution because they do not meet at this line. Someone asked this question, do we have to measure 45 degrees using protractor? No, no, no. You don't have to do any measurement. Protractor is not needed at all in P1 or P3. All you have to do is to draw a realistic line, 0, 0 and 1, 1. That's more than enough. By eye, by vision, you just draw it realistically. It's never a scale thing. It's just a realistic diagram and nothing more. It's not a scale diagram. Acha ji. Now over here, no, I'm not in the mood of this particular question. Let me focus on this APGP. Read the question first. What does the question say? The question says this thing, that the first three terms of an arithmetic progression are 25, 4p minus 1, 13 minus p, where p is a constant. They do not say anything about positive or negative. Got the idea? And then it says, find the value of the 10th term. So the value of the 10th term, that will come up later. First, write this thing. Second minus first is third minus second. Equate. Find the value of p, 40 over 9. Unusual, shocked, expect the unexpected. So let me write over here. That is my third favorite question. So this is another one of my favorite question. Make sure that you highlight it. Which year am I talking about? This is May, June 2024, variant 11. So now P is 40 over 9. Expect the unexpected. Be confident about your working. Yes, you should always double check. There is no harm in double checking, but very strange that you're getting an answer like this. Now, once you get the value of P, I need to find D. So plug in, and now D is again unexpected. A is a nice number. 25 is a beautiful square number. And then the 10th term, that is A plus 9D. And the 10th term is also a nice number, negative 49. So the intermediate answers were different, but this was, the final answers were good. Now, people, I would like you to take a screenshot of this because it's one of my favorite questions. Because expect the unexpected. So now the screenshot is taken. Let's move on. It's part of the same question. So this is also considered because it's continuation of that. So consider this to be a favorite also. So this is a favorite GP question. And this is a favorite AP question. Why? Because the constant was 40 over 9 over here. The D was negative 74 over 9. So because it is a shocking question, that is why it is a favorite. It's not difficult. So now the first three terms of a geometric progression are the same one where Q is a positive constant. Find the sum to infinity. Now the concept of common ratio is used. Second over first is the same thing as third over second. You get quadratic equation. Now you are solving an AP or a GP question over here, GP, and then you are coming across quadratic. Look at all these huge numbers. And of course, you're using a calculator. There is a negative value. There is a positive value. Choose the positive value. And then this is plug the value over here. What is the value of? This is Q. So over there was P. Now look at the difference. That was P. This is Q. So the examiner don't want people to mix things up. So now we found Q. We write the terms. So this is the first. This is the second. Common ratio is 3/5. Sum to infinity is this thing. Give the answer in the exact form. Now another one of my favorite question. Let me highlight this. I'm just writing what I feel comes to my heart. There is no such thing as you have some source in UK or something and that's how you got the paper or anything. Nothing like that. These are just wild guesses. So this is an integration question. Now, what are the comments that I've written? Don't be overwhelmed. New type of equation or graph. Old concepts focus. That means your basics. We are never going to compromise on the basic, no matter how weird the question would look like. So now, instead of like the normal thing and the curve is like this, it is like so elongated and so shifted. That's why it looks different. So now this is 1, 1. The x coordinate is 1. This is 2.4. That is the curve. The diagram shows the curve with this equation. The coordinates are there. The curve intersects such and such. Find the exact volume of solid when it's rotated 360 degrees about the x-axis. So now focus on the shape. Some people prefer to use a cylinder. I do not. I'll simply use the line thing because I don't want to confuse the radius and the height together. So I always play it safe. So first of all, between 1, 2.4 square, write it down. Integrate, becoming x. Plug in the limits, upper limit and lower limit. Highlight it like this. So of course, you can use a pencil, highlight the upper limit, highlight the lower limit like this, and leave the answer in the exact form. That is 1.4 pi. Whether the examiner says it or not, that's not the issue. Leave the answer in the exact form because it did not say so, but it's highly acceptable. Then what about the curve? For the curve, what is happening? We have this function. Where is the function? This is 5x minus 4 raised to power of 1/3. So first write it properly. Y is equals to 5x minus 4 raised to power of negative 1/3. Sometimes people make a mistake. They take it up and forget to change the negative sign. Convert the positive to negative. And then square it. Okay? And then you have this thing. Then you apply chain rule of integration. Increase the power by 1, divide by the new power, divide by the coefficient of x. It's a linear expression on the inside. First simplify, play around with fractions, take everything on the outside, and then plug in the upper limit, then plug in the lower limit. So 2.4 is the upper limit, and 1 is the lower limit, and that's how you get this answer. No, it's not over yet. The last part, what is that? This is 3.5 or 0.6 pi. And then the last part is this, which is the difference between the two. So it was a very simple question. Just don't be shocked by it. Now, let me write a few things and we will proceed. That is P1 paper. The first 6 to 7 questions will be kind of normal type, not normal distribution, just the normal type. When we talk about this thing, let's say question 8, question 9, and then over here, question 10, question 11. So normally, if it's a good balanced paper, over here, this will be a bit difficult. This is what you should have in mind. So expect this thing. The P1, question 8 and 9 would be a bit difficult. And question 8, 10 and 11, they can take you by surprise. Over here, this could be easy but lengthy. So usually this is the pattern that I see. It's just my observation. Anyone can disagree with this. So that is what I feel. What I want you to work on is this. Around, it's 1 hour, 50 minutes, 110 minutes. 40 minutes for these 6 or 7 questions. For 8 and 9, 20 minutes. For 10 and 11, maximum of 25 minutes. And let me change the first one more realistically. So the first one, let me write 45 minutes. 45, and this is also 45. So 45 and 45, that is 90 minutes, right? So therefore, I am getting 90 minutes. And the paper is for how much? 1 hour, 50 minutes, 110 minutes. And the time limit is 110 minutes. You can comfortably work in this time slot. If you are solving 6 or 7 questions, let me make it 7. If you are taking 7 questions and then you are doing it in 45 minutes, that means you are doing perfectly. A balance, a standard deviation of 5 minutes here and there, that is just okay, but should not exceed 45 minutes. Keep that in mind. 20 minutes for 8 and 9, 25 minutes for 10 and 11, and you are all set. Now, let me look at this paper. Now, someone has asked this thing, question number 9. Someone said, sir, it does ask for the exact answer. Yes, thank you. I missed it out. And even if it did not, still, I'll leave the answer in the exact form. Very sharp observation. Thank you. I just had a O-level class earlier, and that itself was very tiring. And this is the second class. So yes, I'm skipping out on these small stuff. Now, question number 1, let's highlight it. How much time is it taking? Question number 1 should take 5 minutes max. So let me write over here. And timing is very important. So yes, there are other questions waiting for us, but don't worry. We need to focus on the time also. So question number and time. Question 1, in my view, should take 5 minutes. Question number 2, sketching, let's say 5 minutes max. Question number 3, binomial. We did not go over it, but it's straightforward. Coefficient of x cube, use answer of first part. No one is stopping you to find something else because you need also coefficient of x square for selective multiplication. So I think another 5 minutes. So 5, 5, 5, 3 questions. And now let me remember it and then I'll write. Question number 4, our first principle. Question number 5, trigonometry. Question number 6. And 7 is circular measure. So let me go up and let me write over here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 6 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes. How much is that? So these 4, 6 minutes, that is 24. 24 plus 15, 39 minutes. So I think that's a pretty good estimate of what I've given. Now let me focus on another question number, time in minutes. Let me focus on 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe if there is 12, I'm unsure of it. So let me look at this. So now question number 8, this one was unusual. Some might get stuck on this one. So let's say 9 minutes. And this one also 9 minutes. So question number 8 and 9, that's 9 minutes each. So this is 9 minutes. This is 9 minutes, 9 and 9, 18 minutes. I gave you 20 minutes to do it. Now let me go over 10 and 11 and then we will talk about it further. So now a question, another one of my favorite. So again, our focus on this, we are on the single paper and maybe one paper we would do more, but I'm focusing on a lot of things that you need to take care of. So it's not just about practice. You have done a lot of practice. It's about cooling down your nerves. So now this one is another one of my favorite. And what is it about, my bad? So that is circle equation, not coordinate, not circular measure, circle equation. It's part of coordinate geometry. So nowadays they ask very little of straight line, but they ask a lot of circles. And look at the question over here. So first of all, take a screenshot of this question. I'll go to the next page also. You can take a screenshot. Now, someone is asking, so what should we do tomorrow morning about revision, Bazan Jamil? I'll answer that thing in a short while. Let me go step by step on this. Okay? So now everyone is watching, and there are some people who appreciate you very much. Thank you. So now this thing, screenshot is taken. Take another screenshot. So now this thing is done. Let me go back and explain you this question. Now, the circle equation question, it's about quadratics, it's about algebra, it's about expansion, factorization. This is where you need the most stamina. The equation of a circle is this. It's already in the completed square form. The line with the equation passes through this point, and it's a tangent to the circle. So the line with equation, this thing passes through this point, and it's a tangent to the circle. That means the y-intercept is -9. That's the first thing. Second thing, find the two possible values of m. And for each value of m, find the coordinates of the point at which the tangent touches the circle. So now over here, form a single equation. Whenever you have to apply the concept of tangent, it's about b square minus 4ac equals to 0. Let me highlight this thing. So whenever you have to apply this concept, b square minus 4ac, hold for a second. Okay, so whenever you have to apply this concept, b square minus 4ac equals to 0. So the first thing is form a single equation. So this is form a single quadratic in terms of x. In terms of x. So that is what you are supposed to do. So I got y squared, the subject. I replace it over here. Now look at the working. I just want you to focus on the working. Now, this working, even anyone can be so good and make a mistake on it. When you expand this thing, y square, what I did was this thing. I squared on the sideline, so that I don't mess up things over here. I want to keep things simplified for myself. If I want to recheck, simplified for myself, which is you people, because I'm not going to give the exam, you people are, and simplified for the person who's going to give you your grade. That is the examiner. So simplify things. Collect the like terms together, x square plus m square x square. I kind of skipped a step. So I took x square common, 1 plus m square, -6x, positive 18mx. Sorry, it's plus, it's not equal. Everything is taken on the side. -6, -18m, coefficient of x. Positive 81, positive 9, -18, positive 72. Apply this concept. This thing, minus a minus b whole square is the same thing as a plus b whole square, because the -1 common after squaring becomes positive. And then look at all these weird numbers that you are getting, because they know that you have a very nice calculator. So it's time to put calculator to use. You get this thing. If it's factorizable, factorize. If you think it's difficult, then quadratic formula is already there. So you are solving two, getting two answers. M is this, M is this. Find two possible values of M. For each value, find the coordinates of the point at which the tangent touches the circle. Look at the marks, 8. So this is the single equation that you have. So you can plug in the value over here and then factorize this. Or if you have all the time in the world, go to the original, again equate, again make a single equation. I think the choice is yours. So now over here, when m is 1, let me evaluate A, let me evaluate B, and let me use this concept, which is what? Which is x is minus b over 2a. How do I get this concept? I get this concept because x is minus b plus minus square root b square minus 4ac, the whole thing over 2a. Since it is what you call tangent, and we applied this condition, b square minus 4ac equals to 0. Therefore, what are you left with? We are left with negative b. We are left with 2a. So just plug in m is equals to 1, evaluate a, evaluate b, evaluate x, plug m is equals to 1 in this line equation and find the y coordinate. Got the idea? Over here, let me repeat the same process. M is equals to negative 7, find a, find b, find a, find b. Apply this thing, find x is negative 6 over 5. This is the equation of line. This is easier to use to find y coordinate. Why torture yourself to the difficult equation? M is negative 7, x is negative 6 over 5, y is negative 3/5. Final answer, write it in the coordinate form because they were asking for the coordinates. So again, this is one of my favorite from the algebraic perspective. Now, this one over here, this one was also a nice question, but chale, let me make it my favorite also. So now over here, again, let me just charge the Apple Pencil. And it's over here. So this is another one of my favorite. Have a good look at it. Now it says a function is defined by fx, this thing. The graph of y is equals to fx is shown in the diagram. Find the set of values of x for which fx is decreasing. So now what you see is that we have fx such and such, and then we differentiate, look at all the steps. And once you do all the steps, then simplify. Then take something common out. That is this thing. Hold for a second. That is minus 12 over x4, 3 over x squared. I have taken common out. And then they are asking, find the set of values for which fx is decreasing. F prime x should be less than 0. 3 over x squared less than 0 has no solution because the variable will disappear. So basically, you have to solve this. So that was a very nice, strong question. So this is what separates the A's versus the B, or B versus the C. That is what such a question separates. And then, yes, we have to talk about the timings. So now over here, when you solve this equation, you get a quadratic inequality. When you have a quadratic inequality, what is necessary? A sketch. And that's how you get this answer. So now this thing is done. This I have taken LCM over here, f prime x. And another way, I multiplied it with 0 because on the other side, so I'm getting the same thing over here. So that is also a nice way. A triangle is bounded by the y-axis and the normal to the curve at the point where x is equals to 1 and tangent to the curve at the point where x is negative 1. So x is equals to 1, that is the normal. Let me use some color. So now, first of all, let me highlight normal, x is equals to 1. Tangent, x is equals to negative 1. Now it says, find the area of the triangle, give your answer correct to 3 significant figures. We already have done the differentiation. We plugged in x is equals to 1. So let me highlight using a purple color, reddish color. When x is 1, f prime of 1 is coming out to be negative 9. But at x is equals to 1, we are interested in the normal. At x is equals to negative 1, we just need the tangent. So now what are we focusing on? We are focusing on this thing. 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 And then we formed two lines. Line meets y-axis, x is 0. We can also do it the gradient way, but people have a natural tendency to work with line. So that's why I work with line. So now line meets y-axis, x is 0. When x is 0, y is 26 over 9. When x is 0, y is negative 8. So have I drawn somewhere? Yes, I have. So blue line meets the green line. This is the blue line. This is the green line. The point of intersection. We get this thing. Again, something unusual. Now, that is how the diagram is drawn. I'm not drawing the curve. At that point, I have drawn, let me go to the original curve. At x is equals to 1, we are drawing a normal. So x is equals to 1, maybe it's over here. And we have drawn a normal like this. At x is equals to minus 1, we have drawn a tangent, a normal, a tangent, and then they are intersecting. So that is how things are. So now, look at the coordinates. The coordinates were what? First of all, 0, 26 over 9. Let me mark it. 0 and 26 over 9. And then the other point, 0 and minus 8. 0 and negative 8. And the simultaneous thing, that is how much? The simultaneous thing is x is this, and where is the y? So hold for a second. That is the x value. And I haven't written the y value as such. So this is minus 49 over 41. And the y value is minus 9 into 49 over 41 minus 8. And then you get this thing. So now what is the base? We don't need the y coordinate as such. We have this thing on the x-axis. That is, this distance is the height. That is 49 over 41. And on top, it's 26 over 9, 0, 26 over 9. That is the y-intercept, 0, negative 8. That is also a y-intercept. And this point of intersection is right over here. So whatever is the shape, we just need the height. We just need the x coordinate becomes the height. And half base into height, you can leave the answer in fractions. You can leave the answer in decimals. Now, someone asked this question, sir, can we use the calculator in differentiation and integration to check answers? What about using it to find the actual answers and solving the question after? So at least we get marked for the answer, like the integration and differentiation button calculator. People, you have to show all the working. So if you are not so confident, or if you have the time, if you want to play safe, then use the calculator for evaluation. But it's not a substitute for the mathematical working. Keep that in mind. So now let me finish this thing and let me take you the examiner report in a second. So over here, I think the last question would take around 12 minutes. Easy. 11. And this question would also take around 12 minutes, plus minus. So let me write over here. So this question is 12 minutes. This is 12 minutes. That is 24 minutes. Now add it all up. 39, let's make it 40. 25, let's make it 25. 24, let's make it 25. 18, let's make it 20. Isn't that what I said without even looking at this? Yes. So 40 and 20, 60 and 125, 1 hour, 25 minutes. That's a lot of time for finishing this paper comfortably. Now, let me see if there is an examiner report over here. No, it's not over here. It is somewhere else. Let me take it out. And there should be somewhere over here. Yeah, AS level maths examiner report. And this is 2024. I think June it was. So this is 2020. And let me think about it. This is 2020. So I think 2024 should be somewhere over here. This is November 2024. That's way down. And by trial and error, November 2023. Let's move on. November 2023, 2020, this thing. This is November 2024. I think they have linked the November with the November, something like this. And the June with the June. Okay, so that is kind of difficult to find. Hold for a second. This is June 2022. This is June 2023, not bad. And this is June 2024. This is pure math. Which variant was it? Let's see. I think it was 1-1. Let me double check. And is this the one? Yes, this is 1-1. And this is, of course, it has to be May, June. So now let's read and answer what you people have been asking. Can we use the coordinates to find the area learned back in geometry? Yes, you can use that rule, but believe me, this one will be easier. As long, whatever makes sense to you, just apply that. So now over here, the key messages. I'm reading this one out. This is the paper that we just solved. And let me focus on different things. So this is important details that we need to focus on. It could be about accuracy. It could be about method. It could be about technique, and so on. So let's look at it. The key messages. So now focus very, very carefully. Leave everything aside. Focus on this. The question paper contains a statement in the rubric on the front cover. Google rubric or ask ChatGPT what rubric means. It says no marks will be given for unsupported answer from a calculator. I think this one single statement says it all. Now, before I read further, let me speak to you. We are talking about middle term factorization, simultaneous, quadratic formula, indices, limits, expansion, b square minus 4ac type of thing, binomial, trigonometry, 4-step solution, binomial expansion, binomial if the first term is x, second term is x, finding a particular term, that 3-step solution, everything, anything, simultaneous and APGP, everything you need to show all essential working. So I hope I have made it absolutely crystal clear. The examiner is always speaking about it. Read it again. No marks will be given for unsupported answer from a calculator. Calculator is secondary. Calculator is secondary. The main thing is examiner wants to learn from you. Make sure that you have learned the analytical skills. That is what they are marking for. Now, the details. Let's read the details. This means clear working must be shown to justify solutions, particularly in syllabus items such as quadratic, trig. In the case of quadratic, it would be necessary to show factorization, use of quadratic formula, completing the square as stated in the syllabus. Using calculators to solve equations and writing down only the solution is not sufficient. for certain marks to be awarded. That means method work would be awarded. Someone is only after accuracy mark. Go ahead and get the accuracy mark, but you won't be getting any method marks, and that is the majority. It is also insufficient to quote only the formula. Candidates need to show values substituted into it. When factorizing, candidates should ensure that the factors always expand to give the coefficient of the quadratic equation. Make sure that your factorization is correct. Candidates should take care to read each question carefully, and to note the number of marks, attached to each question. So this is necessary. Take a screenshot and make sure that when you apply all this knowledge tomorrow, so make sure just do it comfortably with a cool head. You will thank me later. You will thank me in the comments, sir, we have understood this thoroughly. You have explained it in so much detail. You have emphasized it in so much detail that it has been registered in our head. Now, comments on specific questions. Since almost we have done every single question, let's read it. The main parts, especially if I talk about what that is transformation. Successful students scored all 4 marks by correctly stating the transformation beginning with a stretch followed by a translation. Candidates who started with translation invariably use the vector, just ignore that. First reflection, then stretch, then translation. That is the logical order. Most candidates gave the answer in this form, and many of these gave correct answer. Now, something like the differentiation concept. Successful candidates use the values of the gradients of the chord to find f prime of 2. Some candidates found f prime of x using differentiation, but often went astray due to sign errors or poor algebra. I mean, why would they apply a technique of P3 in P1? Why would anyone do that? And when they use the word deduce, that means based upon the previous result, you should use it and then make a conclusion. That is how you do it. So, of course, they shouldn't be getting any marks. The function thing. What is the function thing about? Many candidates gained 1 mark on this question by drawing a curve in the 4th quadrant, but only a few candidates gained full marks. The mirror line of y is equals to x was often omitted, and the curve was often not in the correct position within the 4th quadrant. That means make sure it would overlap. A number of candidates were familiar with finding the inverse of a function. Many gained 2 of the 3 marks available. Why 2 of the 3 marks? Guess what did they forget? They forget this thing. If the original function is quadratic, the inverse function f prime x will have a square root right of turning point of the original quadratic. Square root has a plus sign and vice versa. Okay. What are the different strange kind of questions people have given for this part? There were several answers that gained the mark, with the most common one being a statement that the 2 curves do not intersect on the line y is equals to x. And what were the incorrect answers? Negative numbers do not have a square root, and a function cannot equal its inverse. I mean, don't play around with the examiner. You won't be getting any marks. So let me focus on some paper from 2023. Let me just pick a nice one. Let me pick random questions. Something to do with circular measure. Look at this question till I read the comments. So can you explain? Hold for a second. How many comments did I miss? So can you explain how to do quadrant geometry question in just points and tell what the shape points make, like any tip? Can you explain Beta, what the question that you are asking is that you have to draw a diagram to make clear. I mean, that is something that the examiner is very, very focusing on. Sir, is it really important? 13, both there were something explained with coordinate geometry, good shape of the points, make some tips. I mean, just draw a nice diagram and based upon that diagram, figure out the height and the base, and then that's how you can do it. Okay, now let's look at this question. It says the diagram shows the motif formed by a major arc of a circle with radius r. Major arc of a circle with radius r. Let me add a page so that you can have a nice overview of it. That is the original diagram. The diagram shows a motif. This shape that is shaded, that's a motif. And what else does it say? Given that ACB is k pi radians, state the value of the fraction k. So ACB, that is ACB, is like this. First of all, this is one thing, perimeter of the motif and area of the motif. Now let me go over here. First thing first, we know that this is R. We also know that this is R. We also know that this is R. So it forms an equilateral triangle. That's the first thing. So therefore, this is 60 degrees, this is 60 degrees, 60, 60, 60, 60. Therefore, this whole thing, that is ACB, right? ACB is 60 plus 60, 120. 120 is 2 pi by 3 radians. So now in circular measure, make sure your calculator is in radian mode because the angle has to be in radians. And work in 4SF, final answer 3SF. The next thing, perimeter of the shaded motif in terms of pi n r. Now, if this thing is let me focus on this. This is 60, this is 60. This is also 120. Therefore, this reflex angle is 4 pi by 3. So based upon r, based upon 4 pi by 3, find this. And based upon 2 pi by 3, based upon r, find this. Look at the working. 2 pi by 3 r s is equals to r theta. 4 pi by 3 r s is equals to r theta. Add it up, you get a nice number, nice expression, 2 pi r. Now, the next one. The area of the motif. Now, think about it. If I find, let me draw it over here. So, let me choose a nice color. Okay. And let me make it thicker like this. Like this. Like this. And it's just a rough diagram like this. No, it won't work. So now like this, like this, like this, let me just shade it. If I find this area, what is extra in it? This thing is extra. Got it? And this thing is extra. So now what do? We find the area of the major sector. We find the area of the small sector. Subtract the triangle, find this. That's the same thing as this. Subtract from the big one. Got the idea? Now let's look at the working. Area of major sector, half r square, 4 pi by 3. Then area for COB, area of sector, half r square, pi by 3. Area of triangle, half AB sine C. The difference is the segment. There are two such segments. That is what you are getting. And area of motif is that the area of major segment, major sector minus 2 small segments. And that is what you get in terms of pi, in terms of root 3, in terms of r. In terms of pi, in terms of r, in terms of root 3, that is the answer in the exact form. Your calculators are useless at this point because it's all about the exact form. Now, let me focus on which question is this? Let's focus on this. Read the question first. express this thing in this form, where A and B are constants. This is almost completed square. Why do I call this format as almost completed square? Because the coefficient of x is not 1 on the inside. First, just work out the normal way. And then once you reach this particular stage, that is completed square, write 4 as 2 square. This is the bracket square. Using this rule of indices, this is 2 into x minus 3 over 2. That is this thing, the whole thing square, and that is what you're getting. So I think by some mistake, I wrote a 1. It's a 4. Now it says the function f is defined by fx 4x squared minus 12x plus 13. X lies between p and q. That is the domain, where p and q are constants. The function gx is defined by such and such. This is x is less than 8. Given that it is possible to form the composite function gf, find the least possible value of p and the greatest possible value of q. GF composite function, it means G f x. X first goes inside F, then the result goes inside G. That means G f x means first F, then G. The output of F becomes the input of G. The output of F is range of F. Input of G is domain of G. Range of F is a subset of domain of G. Just take this fx equation and plug it in place of x in the domain, because range of f will be given by this thing. Plug in domain of g. Domain of g is x is less than 8. So this is a composite function. Just take rf and write it over here. So this is rf. So let me highlight this. This is rf. It's written. And over here, this is domain of G. For the greatest value and the least value, it should be a proper subset. It should be equal to this. So just equate. Because there is an inequality, we have to solve. We solve this quadratic inequality. We get answers of this form. Therefore, half x lies between half and 5 by 2. X lies between P and Q. Whenever an inequality is written as this, x is greater than p, that means x greater than p, there are many values, p would be the least. And if it's x is less than q, then are many values lesser than q, so q would be the greatest. So x greater than something, they would ask for the least value. X lesser than something, they would ask for the greatest value. Just do comparing coefficient, don't do overthinking, you get this answer. Find an expression for g of f of x. So just take fx, place inside gx in place of x and simplify. They are not asking us to simplify, do not simplify. hx is defined by such and such, quadratic. Domain of original function is left of turning point. Find an expression for h inverse. When you find the expression, there is a square root, there is a negative with the square root side. That is the something. And let me minimize it, take a screenshot, because this is again one of my favorite. So let me write over here, again, a favorite in functions. Okay, and take a screenshot on the next page also. Which paper is this? This is October, November 2023, variant 11. So I think that's all about it. Let me look for some other question. This one was too tough. Hold for a second. Let me go over here. That was easy. Sector. Now let's look at this question. The question says the coordinates of points A, B, and C, a question dedicated to coordinate geometry that deserves all the respect. The coordinate of points A, B, and C are such, such, and such respectively, where P is a constant. The line AB is perpendicular to the line BC. A, B, gradient. B, C, gradient. Perpendicular, multiply to give you -1. You get this whole quadratic equation. You get two values. P is less than 10. So this is 17, discard. Less than 10, you accept. Circle, good. A circle passes through the point. Let me mark it as my favorite. And let me mark it over here. So another one, this is favorite. It's got straight line concept. And it has also the circle equation concept. So let me focus on this one. A circle passes through the point A, B, and C. Find the equation of the circle. So now over here, we have proven that AB is perpendicular to BC. That means angle, this angle over here, B is 90 degrees. Side opposite to 90 degree, opposite to 90 degree angle is AC. Therefore, AC is the diameter. Therefore, A is there, C is there, midpoint is there. That is the center of circle. Radius is from M till C, M till A. That comes out to be √65. Do not use a calculator. Center goes over here, center goes over here, the X coordinate, the H and the K, and this is radius square. That's how you get this answer. Find the equation of tangent to the circle at C. So we have gradient of AC is there, tangent is over here, negative reciprocal. That's a realistic diagram, not misleading. I mean, that's just a diagram for your convenience. So the gradient is 7/4, tangent is -4/7. The coordinates of C is this, and then you find the equation in this particular format. Make sure the ordering is all good, all clear. dx, ey, f, x term, y term, constant, right-hand side, 0. So I think that's pretty much it. And that's all about it. Wish you the best of luck. It's tomorrow in afternoon paper. Just chill, relax, nothing. You should be doing, someone asked this question. What we should be doing, you should be doing tomorrow morning. I think relax. You have studied enough. You have put in all your efforts. Yes, every single one of you. Those who are present here at this moment, they are concerned about the grades. So you have done all your efforts, all your hard work. Now the game changer is that 2 hours, that how many? 1 hour and 50 minutes. So therefore, that's 110 minutes of P1 paper. And before that, you are on your toes from 12 noon onwards. You have to reach the CIE examination hall. And then there is traffic on the road and all these things are there. And it's a hot May weather. So therefore, keeping all this thing in mind, don't do anything. That is my advice. Just chill, relax. I mean, don't just do this and go ahead and watch a movie or Netflix. Nothing like that. Just chill, relax. I mean, if you want to flip through the pages, if you want to flip through your notes a bit, max till 11 a.m., I think that is more than enough. So that is my advice. Show all essential workings, focus on everything that I have said, everything your teacher has said. Everyone plays a part in your success. Acknowledge them, be thankful to them, and inshallah, your people will go great.